President Ramnath Kovind to address the nation on the eve of 74th Independence Day today. The address to be broadcast on the entire network of All India Radio and all channels of Doordarshan in the evening. Rajasthan Assembly session scheduled to begin today after a month-long political crisis in the state. A unit of the ruling Congress party, BSP, issues whip against Congress in case of no confidence motion. Union Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju to launch Fit India Freedom Run today. The largest countrywide run will encourage fitness and help citizens to get freedom from lifestyle diseases. Maldives President Ibrahim Mohamed Soli thanks Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the economic package. PM Modi reiterates continuous assistance to Maldives. Our special friendship is and always remain as deep as the waters of the Indian Ocean. US brokers historic peace agreement between Israel and UAE to normalize diplomatic ties in the Middle East region. The agreement is a new era for the country, says Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. German club RB Leipzig defeats Atletico Madrid to reach their first Champions League semi-final just 11 years after their formation. Will meet French club PSG in the semi-finals of the Champions League. Good morning. Welcome to English News. I am Anil Thomas. Now for the stories in detail. President Ramnath Kovind will address the nation on the eve of the 74th Independence Day today. The address will be broadcast from 7 p.m. on the entire national network of All India Radio and telecast over all channels of Doordarshan in Hindi, followed by the English version. Broadcast of the address in Hindi and English on Doordarshan will be followed by the broadcast in regional languages by regional channels of Doordarshan. All India Radio will broadcast the regional language version at 9:30 p.m. on its respective regional networks. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison extended warm congratulations to the people of India ahead of the country's Independence Day on August 15th. In his message, the Australian Prime Minister said, as a long-standing friend of India, Australia joins wholeheartedly in the celebration of independence and extends our warm congratulations to the people of India. The Australian Prime Minister highlighted the elevation of bilateral relations to a comprehensive strategic partnership between India and Australia. Scott Morrison further said the deep friendship between Australia and India is about more than trade and diplomacy. Prime Minister Morrison said, while this year's celebration will be different and many of the traditional gatherings will not take place, we can all draw strength from the values that our countries share. The Australian Prime Minister also acknowledged the Indian community in Australia on the occasion. Ahead of the 74th Independence Day celebrations tomorrow, Delhi police have stepped up vigilance and security to ensure the safety of people amid the coronavirus pandemic. Multi-layered arrangements along with necessary coordinations with other agencies like the NSG, SPG and the ITBP have been made. Delhi police have also strategically stationed SWAT teams and Parakram vans. Facial recognition system have also been set up at vantage points for suspect identification. Moreover, all necessary guidelines of the government on COVID-19 will strictly be imposed. Apart from securing the main venue at Red Fort, adequate security arrangements at the Rashtrapati Bhavan have also been made, and the city-wide alert is being exercised by all the district DCPs. Well, let's now shift focus to the state of Rajasthan. Amid the political crisis going on in the state for the last 1 month, the special assembly session will begin today. Before the session, the meeting of BJP and Congress Legislative Party was held on Thursday in Jaipur, where both parties discussed their strategy for the session. The meeting of the BJP Legislative Party was held in Jaipur. The party has decided to bring a no-confidence motion against the Ashok Gehlot government. The leader of the opposition in the assembly, Gulab Chand Kataria, claimed that the party is fully prepared to bring a no-confidence motion against the government. Former Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje also addressed the meeting. Briefing the reporters after the meeting, Union Minister Narendra Singh Tomar said that the Congress party and Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot want to pin the blame on others for their shortcomings. The Congress Legislative Party meeting was also held in Jaipur on Thursday evening. After many days of political maneuvers, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot and his former deputy Sachin Pilot met at the latter arrived at the Chief Minister's residence to make peace. The meeting was also attended by 18 Congress MLAs who had supported Sachin Pilot. Meanwhile, the Bahujan Samajwadi Party has issued a whip for the second time to 6 of its MLAs in Rajasthan to vote against the Congress in any no-confidence motion or any other proceedings in the State Assembly. The party in a statement said if they violate the same, they will face disqualification. In another development, the Rajasthan High Court will today hear the petitions filed by BJP MLA Madan Dilawar and the BSP challenging the merger of 6 MLAs with the Congress. The petitioners have challenged the merger of the 6 MLAs with the Congress and demanded a stay on the execution of the order passed by the Speaker in this regard. Union Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports Kiren Rijiju will launch the largest countrywide run, the Fit India Freedom Run today. The run will begin from tomorrow and continue till October 2nd. Individuals and organizations can register for the event on the Fit India website. The event has been organized to mark the 74th Independence Day of India tomorrow to the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi on October 2nd. The motto of the Freedom Run is to encourage fitness and to help citizens to get freedom from obesity, laziness, stress, anxiety and other lifestyle diseases. In the recent past as well, Fit India has organized numerous big-scale events such as Fit India Plog Run and Fit India Cyclothon to take the message of fitness to the masses. Well, time now to take a look at the updates on COVID-19 from across the country. The recovery rate has crossed 71%, while the case fatality rate has fallen below 2%. Over 17 lakh people have now recovered from coronavirus. 55,573 recoveries were recorded in the last 24 hours, taking the cumulative total of those people recovered or discharged to 17,51,555. With this, the recovery rate currently stands at 71.17%. India's three-pronged strategy of test, trace and treat is proving to be a success. One tangible outcome of this particular strategy is that the fatality rate has dropped to 1.95% with 48,040 deaths recorded so far. With over 7 lakh tests being conducted each day, the number of active COVID-19 cases in the country stand at 6,61,591, which is around 26% of the total cases reported so far. Further, according to ICMR, 2,76,94,416 samples have been tested for COVID so far. Of these, 8,48,728 samples were tested yesterday. The World Health Organization has advised to conduct 140 tests per day per million population. Notably, according to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, focused center-led efforts and effective implementation by states and union territories, 34 of them have exceeded this requirement by the WHO. Well, moving to some news from Jammu and Kashmir, terrorists today fired upon police party near Naugam bypass in central Kashmir's Srinagar district. 2 police personnel attained martyrdom in the incident, while one was injured in the firing by terrorists in Naugam. Meanwhile, the whole area has been cordoned off to nab the attackers. Jammu and Kashmir police also informed about the incident in a tweet. The Kashmir Zone Police said terrorists fired indiscriminately upon police party near Naugam bypass. 3 police personnel injured. They were shifted to hospital for treatment, where 2 among them attained martyrdom. The area has been cordoned off. Further details shall follow. Well, a quick update on floods in Bihar and Assam. Moving first to Bihar, where the flood situation continues to worsen, with floodwater inundating 11 more panchayats in the past 24 hours. Currently, over 77 lakh people across 1,282 panchayats in 16 districts are flood affected. 33 teams of NDRF and SDRF are carrying out relief and rescue works. Over 5.5 lakh people have been shifted to safer places. Till now, 25 people have lost their lives in flood-related incidents across the state. 7 relief camps are presently operational, where 12,500 people are taking shelter. Over 1,000 community kitchens are also being run, providing food to around 8,17,000 people. COVID testing facilities are also being provided at all relief camps and community kitchen areas. The government has dispersed relief of 6,000 rupees each to over 7 lakh flood affected families till now, and the Met Department has predicted light to medium rainfall in and around these river areas. It has also predicted heavy rainfall at isolated places across the state on August 16th and 17th. Meanwhile, the flood situation in Assam has improved significantly, with the number of affected districts coming down to just 2. 11,000 people across 40 villages under 3 revenue circles remain flood affected. In view of the development, large number of people have started returning to their homes. Only 6 relief and distribution camps remain active across the state, where 62 people are taking shelter. Although rivers at 3 places across 3 districts are flowing above the danger mark, water level could be seen receding trend there. The Met Department has predicted heavy rainfall at isolated places for today till August 17th. Moving up north to the hilly state of Uttarakhand, that's also facing flood fury. The water level has increased in Mandakini. Administration has cautioned people not to go near the river. Continuous spell of rains in the state has put life out of gear. In Chamoli, Badrinath National Highway has been blocked due to the falling of boulders after heavy rains. Internal roads of Darchula in Pittorgarh were also blocked due to heavy downpour. Although there is some improvement in the flood situation in the state of Uttar Pradesh, 523 villages of 16 districts are still affected. People have started taking shelter at safer places. NDRF teams have been deputed for rescue and relief operations. Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau have set up a 5-member panel to inquire the skidding of Air India Express flight over the tabletop runway at Kozhikode on August 7th. Captain S.S. Cheher, former designated examiner of Boeing airplane 737NG, will be the investigator in charge of the panel. The panel has been asked to submit its report to AAIB within 5 months. The mob violence that claimed 3 lives in Bangalore East was an act of violence intended to damage police property and target policemen. Bangalore City Police Commissioner Kamal Pant spoke to DD News and said the initial investigation by police has also established the fact that mob demanded the accused be handed over to them, which the police refused. He also said that the charges of intelligence failure is false and police action was justified, otherwise more damage would have been caused. Over 30 injured policemen are recovering in hospitals. Meanwhile, the disturbed areas remain peaceful and security was increased by the deployment of Rapid Action Force in the areas. Curfew will remain till tomorrow.
Violence that shook Bangalore on Tuesday night has really opened eyes for many agencies. To talk more about this, I have with me Bangalore City Police Commissioner Mr. Kamal Pant. Sir, this incident was it really caught everyone by surprise.
If you have been to that area, You may be aware that this is a very congested and densely populated locality, and there are people all around that police station. At any given time there would be some people. So on that particular day, such a large number of people gathered. It's really a surprise. And there was no reason, no justification to have attacked police.
So was this a planned attack? Did they mobilize the crowd and attack us?
See, we are looking into it, whether there was any effort to mobilize people at short notice. That is also being looked into. We have taken up investigation. Based on the investigation, we will be certainly taking action against if there was any such attempt by anybody.
Right. A lot is being talked about the involvement of SDPI and some organizations. The SDPI corporator was there on the spot.
I would not like to comment about investigation which is being done right now. We have video clips, we have statements, we have different types of inputs, and we are analyzing everything. Based on the facts as they emerge during the investigation, we will be taking action. We have already arrested some people. Almost 147 have been arrested.
Yeah. And also there was talk about failure of intelligence.
Everybody has responded. Everybody was there. See, in what way there is intelligence failure? The road was blocked. The vehicles were set on fire. It was very difficult for police to reach there. They could reach only after clearing the debris, and there was crowd everywhere which was resorting to stone pelting. So that's why it took some time for me to reach there. We cleared the whole area, then we reached there. So there was no delay on the part of police, and I won't admit that there was any police failure.
Thank you very much, sir. That was the Commissioner, Mr. Kamal Pant, talking about the investigation which he says is going on, and the investigation will reveal the truth, and the police did act in time, and the violence was brought in control, and peace has been restored in the region. With cameraman Krishna Reddy, Asha Khanam, DD India, Bangalore.
Well, Maldives has thanked India for its developmental assistance as budget support in Greater Malay Connectivity Project. Maldivian President Ibrahim Mohamed Soli in a tweet said, and I quote, "A landmark moment in Maldives-India cooperation today as we receive Indian assistance of $250 million as budget support and $500 million for the Greater Malay Connectivity Project. I thank Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Indian people for their generosity and friendship." Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that India will continue to support the Maldives in mitigating the economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic. Replying to the Maldivian President Ibrahim Mohamed Soli on Twitter, the Prime Minister said their special friendship will always remain as deep as the waters of the Indian Ocean. Earlier on Thursday, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, over a conversation with his Maldivian counterpart Abdul Saeed, announced India's decision to support the implementation of GMCP in Maldives through a financial package consisting of a grant of $100 million and a new line of credit worth $400 million. Meanwhile, in a major diplomatic breakthrough, the UAE on Thursday became the first Gulf country and the third in the Arab world to establish diplomatic relations with Israel. A joint statement from the United States, Israel and the UAE said this historic diplomatic breakthrough will advance peace in the Middle East region and is a testament to the bold diplomacy and vision of the three leaders and the courage of the United Arab Emirates and Israel to chart a new path that will unlock the great potential in the region. US President Donald Trump called the accord between Israel and the United Arab Emirates historic and a breakthrough towards peace.
After 49 years, Israel and the United Arab Emirates will fully normalize their diplomatic relations. They will exchange embassies and ambassadors and begin cooperation across the board and on a broad range of areas, including tourism, education, healthcare, trade, and security. This is a truly historic moment.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in a nationally broadcast statement, said the move ushered in a new era in Israel's relations with the Arab world.
Today we usher in a new era of peace between Israel and the Arab world. I just came from an historic virtual conference between myself, President Donald Trump, and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed of the United Arab Emirates. We announced the establishment of a full and formal peace between Israel and the UAE. It includes the mutual opening of embassies, direct flights, and many, many other bilateral agreements. This is the greatest advancements toward peace between Israel and the Arab world in the last 26 years, and it marks the third formal peace between Israel and an Arab nation.
The United Arab Emirates has said an agreement with Israel to normalize relations was done to deal with the threat that further annexation of Palestinian territories posed to the two-state solution. The UAE's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Anwar Gargash, urged the Palestinians and Israelis to return to the negotiating table.
Let's really try and get something tangible. Let us try and basically deal with the current threat towards a two-state solution, negotiations for a two-state solution. And the current threat is really this annexation of Palestinian territories. And the idea was very clear that Israel will commit in a three-way phone call with the United States to stopping annexation, suspending it, and at the same time, we will be able to also announce that we will begin what I would call a normal relationship with Israel.
Meanwhile, Tel Aviv City Hall lit up in the United Arab Emirates colors on Thursday night as a U.S. broker deal between Israel and the Gulf Arab country was announced. The agreement announced by the U.S. President Donald Trump broke new ground in Israel's outreach to Gulf Arab countries with a common fear of Iran's regional influence. The agreement, to be known as the Abraham Accord, also gives Trump foreign policy accomplishment as he seeks re-election on November 3rd. Well, time now to take a look at the COVID-19 updates from across the world. Over 2 crore 10 lakh coronavirus cases have been registered globally, with over 7,57,000 deaths related to COVID-19. As many as 1 crore 39 lakh people have recovered from coronavirus so far. COVID-19 cases have been shooting up in the United States, making it the worst hit country by the pandemic for several weeks now. US has over 54 lakh 15,000 cases of the virus, with the death toll crossing 1 lakh 70,000. It's followed by Brazil, which has recorded 1 lakh 5,000 deaths and over 32 lakh 29,000 cases of COVID-19. In terms of death toll, after United States and Brazil, Mexico comes third, with the death toll now crossing 55,000. The World Health Organization on Thursday downplayed the dangers of the coronavirus latching on to food packaging and urged people not to be afraid of the virus entering the food chain. The announcement comes after 2 cities in China said they had found traces of the coronavirus in imported frozen food and on food packaging, raising fears that contaminated food shipment might cause new outbreaks. WHO's head of emergencies program, Mike Ryan, told a briefing in Geneva that there is no evidence that food or the food chain is participating in transmission of this virus, and people should feel comfortable and safe. Ryan also said that the key to fighting the coronavirus is stopping cluster spreading into community transmission. British pharmaceutical major AstraZeneca on Thursday announced saying that the production of 400 million doses of a COVID-19 vaccine for Latin America could begin early next year, as the region's coronavirus death toll reached nearly 230,000. In partnership with the Mexican and Argentinian governments, Astra plans to initially produce 150 million doses and eventually make at least 400 million for distribution throughout the region. Home to some 650 million people, Latin America has registered the world's highest tallies for coronavirus cases and deaths, with Brazil and Mexico trailing only the United States in record numbers of fatalities. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López hailed the agreement as good news for Mexico and said the vaccine would be distributed without cost in the country, which ranks third worldwide in the number of fatalities. Brazil earlier this month committed $355 million to purchase and produce the Astra vaccine. On to sports. German club RB Leipzig stunned Atletico Madrid with a 2-1 victory in the UEFA Champions League quarter-final on Thursday night to reach the competition's last four for the first time in the club's 11-year-long history. With 2 minutes of normal time remaining, United States midfielder Tyler Adams snatched victory with a deflected shot from outside the box to set up a semi-final clash with French club Paris Saint-Germain. Well, the next two levels of the quarterfinals will be played today and tomorrow in the Champions League. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of news. But remember to follow physical distancing at all times. Wearing your face mask is necessary to keep one safe. Also, wash your hands every 20 minutes. And if not possible, use a hand sanitizer to keep yourself clean, because we all need to see a better tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.